to our ongoing coverage of the impact of the cost of living crisis, particularly on parts of the world that were already struggling. Lebanon is one country that's acutely affected. Before the country's ongoing troubles, families met $1.5 billion of the country's annual education costs, with government spending only $1.2 billion. Runaway inflation has led to major drops in household income, spikes in private school fees, and a nationwide teachers' strike. Now, 15% of households have taken children out of schools. As part of our series on how children around the world are affected by the cost of living crisis, Hawley has been speaking to children who are compromising their future to help their families make ends meet.
There's no other option for many children here but to grow up fast. Hassan's been working for 2 years, helping sell cigarettes. He comes here after school.
I'm working here to get some money, and because it's better than being in the street.
I asked him if he prefers school or work.
School.
Hassan's father sells vegetables for a living, but prices have risen so fast that these are now a luxury for many people in Lebanon. The global cost of living crisis has hit a country already suffering an economic meltdown and a currency collapse. According to the UN, 9 out of 10 families can't afford the basics anymore.
If I could afford it, of course I would prefer him to study. Working isn't the best thing for him, but it brings some money.
Together they help make sure the whole family has what they need, and growing numbers of children are having to do the same. 9-year-old Kareem and 6-year-old Adam are getting ready for school. Their 14-year-old brother is already at work at a supermarket. Their mother Majdaleen has 2 jobs and is looking for a third. A once decent salary is now worth very little, and middle-class people have fallen into poverty. Majdaleen works at their school in the kitchen. It's part of a project funded by the World Food Programme, employing mothers of school children, giving them some income, with the aim of keeping their children in school and them and their classmates properly fed.
They feel hungry, they ask for sandwiches for their parents. So many students ask us for, can I have this tomato for my mom? They knock on the door of the kitchen every day. Tens of students, not 1 or 2.
And it didn't used to be like this?
No. I never seen that in Lebanon before.
And if you didn't have this job, Majdaleen, what would your situation be?
Worst. Then too bad, because I don't have enough money to get food for my kids and to keep going in my life. That's it.
The UN Children's Fund says 1 in 10 families in Lebanon don't send their children to school anymore because they can't afford to. It's a sensitive issue, which brings embarrassment, even shame. Most of the street sellers here are Syrian refugees. But more and more Lebanese children are now joining them. In homes up and down this country, families have had to sell belongings as well as send their children to work. Mohammed, who's 15, provides for both his little sisters and for the whole family. Their father can't work after he injured himself falling from a ladder. Mohammed's been out of school since he was 11, and there's no time anymore to see his friends.
I would like to go to school, of course, but in this situation, who would think of going to school? You need to provide for your family.
I asked him how that felt.
I'm suffocating. Suffocating. But I have to put up with it. Some people curse me when they pass and tell me not to get any closer. Some people humiliate us.
He's out here day in and day out, all hours. One of so many forced to fend both for themselves and their families. Their childhood, a stressful daily grind. Hawley, BBC News, Southern Lebanon.
And as I said, this is part of a series of special reports that we're doing on the impact of the cost of living on children around the world. So you can go to our website to watch more of the stories we've covered here on the programme throughout the week.